I'm probably the youngest here. When you were younger...
Oh, my God.
Would you say you gained greater business... You're
going to start an airline, are you?
No. Would you say you gained greater business insight from meeting other successful managers and educators, perhaps even university experience, but experience through self-education and learning from your mistakes of previous failures was most valuable, most responsible?
Can I say all of the above? I mean, you can't deny the fact that I was inspired by Branson. You know, I know of a lot of reasons why I don't agree with Branson, but he is probably the best PR person I know. And I've learned a lot of my PR skills by watching Branson operate. So here's an example of looking up to someone and observing them and learning from them and saying, you know, that's how you fill up a plane, by doing all the PR stunts that he did. At the same time, I've learned a lot from my mistakes, as you said, in the sense that, you know, I've learned not to believe in bubbles, not to believe in your own BS, you know, at the top of the market. You know, internet cafe is going to become the next McDonald's and we'll have 20,000 outlets. You know, some of that wasn't just was incredible, and yet the market believed it. You know, serious companies like Hewlett-Packard and Apex invested in it. So, you know, don't believe your own hype. Remain grounded. Think of an exit strategy, in other words, of a loss mitigation strategy. Learn from your mistakes. Don't repeat them the next time. Franchising was born out of my inability to manage shops away from base. Because we went and built so many shops away from the UK, we couldn't control them. So I said, well, the only way to do it is through franchise. Sell it to a local entrepreneur and then license the brand and get a royalty. So a lot came from the mistakes. University education I still believe in. And that's why I'm funding scholarships, for example. One of the ways I give back, one of the ways I repay my debt to society is by funding people to go through the university education I did at the LSE and the City University. So, yeah, I think all of the above.
What about business education? We've had entrepreneurs on this stage before who've been very dismissive of business education, but you know, you've had one yourself.
What do you mean, MSc MBA or beyond that?
These kind of things.
No,
MBAs.
I would definitely go up to an MBA level. Yes. Right. So undergraduate and a master's degree I think is worthwhile. Let's face it. They say the most creative year to start a business in your life, and generally on creativity, is the late 20s, 29. I started EasyJet 28 and 9-10 months. So, no, I only found out because the Sunday Times called me one day and said, you know, we're writing about this theory that you are your most creative at 29. Do you agree with it? I said, yes. But, you know, arguably you are experienced enough to know what you're doing, but not old enough to be afraid of the risk. You don't have too much to lose. So, you know, if you don't, you know, education takes you through your early 20s. I mean, today you can finish easily by 23, 24. A few years of working for someone else. I worked for my father for 4 years. I don't mention it always, but, you know, I did have the process of having to report to someone. I hated it, of course, but that's a different story. So, you know, getting a job for 3 or 4 years after university education is probably the best place, the best way to get to your own business.
Thank you.
The gentleman in front, there's someone right in front of you? Right in front of you?
Thanks very much, Stelios. My name's Rashid. I'm a coach, another coach,
Okay.
and a speaker, and I run a seminar here at the British Library. The question I want to ask you is actually related to the last question. One of the first things you began talking about was redefining what is an entrepreneur. I just want you to talk briefly, if you would, about what you believe to be the personal qualities. You know, what do you think are the personal qualities that makes a great entrepreneur, and to what degree do you believe that those personal qualities, aside from the product, are, you know, key to the success?
Do things like take risks and be your own boss count as personal qualities?
Yep.
Yeah, so these are the two, I think, the defining ones. But some entrepreneurs are also, you know, stubborn, persevering, you know, they work hard, persistent. Some become arrogant, which helps sometimes with marketing, sometimes it doesn't, because you go over the top and then you get backlash from your customers and the public. I find the most fascinating entrepreneurs the very humble ones, for example. There's a guy called Ingvar Kamprad that started IKEA. And he's a multi-billionaire many times over in his 70s, and he flies EasyJet. So, you know, he's a very, very, you know, humble man that says, you know, okay, I've made some money, but it's not a big deal. So, and then you get people like Michael O'Leary of Ryanair, who's very, very successful, you know, has built a very profitable business, but look at his arrogance, which must at some stage turn consumers against the business. So, you know. All right.
I'm not going to ask you again. So if September 11th was your darkest hour, what would you say, since you started the Easy Group, was your best moment? Like you thought, yes, I've made it now.
Yeah. The day we floated EasyJet on the stock market. It was, you know, it was the transition from a private sort of struggling business into something that, you know, was well-funded and therefore could grow. It was almost like a relief for me. You know, other people are willing to invest in this thing. You know, it's not just a crazy idea.
Well, that's kind of like, was a defining moment in terms of...
Let me put it the other way. If the two things happened in the reverse order, I wouldn't be standing here probably. If September 11 happened before the flotation, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. We would have been bankrupt and I would be back in Greece. Thanks a lot. Thank you.